Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and here's a brand new article from the Motley Fool. Is Ripple on the brink of ending its lawsuit with the SEC? Well, I will just answer that for you. The answer is yes. And why? Because the SEC is pro-crypto. That's right. It would have seemed impossible a year ago. Well, really at any point over the last several years in particular. But the SEC went from an attack dog out to destroy crypto to just being pro-crypto. And I'll show you why in the behaviors here, but it couldn't be more obvious. And you know what the cool thing is? So we've already seen, and I'm going to highlight a couple instances in this video, we've already seen that the SEC is acquiescing where it has overstepped, including with Coinbase. You probably heard about that. That news broke days ago. But we have a couple new headlines going in that direction. And as a result of everything that we're seeing, actually more of legacy finance is jumping into crypto. And we're continuing to see more firms embrace XRP specifically. So the answer is yes. This appeal with the SEC and Ripple, it's going to go bye-bye. It'll probably happen within the next couple months or so, 2-3 months, if attorney Jeremy Hogan is correct, and I will not be surprised if he is indeed correct. His prediction, I believe, was, if I'm not mistaken, was April or May. He thinks it's most probable, though he acknowledges it could happen sooner than that. But it's exciting because when that happens, we're in a bull run, folks. And I know it may not seem like that on a day where the market's red. We're still in the bull run. I insist that's the case. And I think the market would respond. I do think the market would respond. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. So this is kind of trippy to see because this is our real life right now. This is the official X account of the SEC. That's right, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, 774,500 followers on X. And this is the type of thing that we would have been dreaming of over the last several years. And now it's real life. Look at this. Here's their post. Today, Acting Chairman Ueda spoke at Florida Bar's 41st Annual Federal Securities Institute and M&A Conference, discussing the Commission's role in fostering innovation, job creation, and economic growth. And here's a quote from what Mark Ueda, the acting SEC chair, had to say. Over the past 5 weeks, the Commission has begun the process of returning to its narrow mission to facilitate capital formation while protecting investors and maintaining fair, orderly, and efficient markets. One purpose of the Commission's regulatory mandate is to create capital markets that facilitate the competitiveness and ingenuity of the American industry. Properly implemented, we can help President Trump achieve his goal of a new golden age of economic growth and innovation, creating more jobs, wealth, and prosperity for all Americans. Folks, that's from the SEC. That's the guy at the top of the damn thing saying, no, we're going to go back to what the mission is. So remember how we in crypto have been saying, especially in the XRP community over the last several years, holy crap, the SEC is tremendously overstepping their assuming power that was not granted to them by Congress, which isn't exactly legal, but they've been doing it. Well, now all it took was new leadership. Thank God Trump got elected, because had this not happened, it would have been the status quo. We would have keep fighting, lawsuit by lawsuit here. But because of this change administration, we see that the guy at the top right now is moving us back to a situation where the SEC is acting within the confines of the power delegated to it by Congress. Is that not a relief? That is incredible to see. And so that was reposted by attorney James Murphy. He's an attorney within the XRP community, also known as Meta Lawman. So he shared that and wrote, SEC Acting Chairman Mark Ueda gave a noteworthy speech today. He began with pointed criticism of the prior regime. And here's another quote. What occurred under the Biden administration was a stark aberration from long-standing norms as to what the Commission has historically viewed its legal authority, policy priorities, and use of enforcement, end quote. The crypto community has been saying exactly this quote, exactly this for quite a while now. Nice to have it confirmed by the top person in the organization. Spot on, Attorney Murphy. And so others are noticing. Look at this headline we got today. This is pretty damn cool. $64 billion asset manager Citadel to offer crypto trading liquidity. Folks, if you're afraid because the market's down today, just understand that Legacy Finance is not afraid, and they are jumping in head first because of the change in administration. Plain and simple. You would not be seeing this if not for the way the election went down. This is great for everybody in crypto. What a time to be in crypto. It's just, we'll look back on these days like a decade from now as the glory days, effectively. We will. Mark my words on that. Check this out. Piece reads as follows. $64 billion asset manager Citadel Securities will begin offering crypto trading and become a liquidity provider for cryptocurrencies, a Bloomberg report says. The firm aims to get added to the roster of market makers on various exchanges, including those run by Coinbase Global Inc., Binance Holdings, and Crypto.com. The firm was previously cautious about engaging with the crypto industry, but has changed its tone due to its belief in Donald Trump's administration lifting the crypto industry upward. Yep, elections have consequences, and these are some pretty damn fantastic consequences in my estimation. And so here you have Dom, who is the co-founder of EZA. They're building on top of the XRP ledger, partnered with Ripple. Dom is formerly at Goldman Sachs, formerly worked at Blackstone, and he's a Wharton graduate, so he's no schlep. He knows this stuff here, and he knows what this means. And so he shared this news, and he wrote, Citadel is the world's best hedge fund. If they're coming into crypto, you know crypto is going up. It's that simple. I agree. I concur with this statement. Would you like to see some more proof that the SEC is pro-crypto now? Words that were just... It would have been sounded like made-up Fantasyland crap for children if you said it like a year ago. But here this is real life now. This is the world we actually live in. It's glorious. Well, here's some more proof. Look at this new headline. SEC ends Robinhood investigation with no action. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has ended its investigation into trading platform Robinhood Crypto with no action, the company said in a statement. According to the firm, the SEC's enforcement division advised Robinhood Crypto that it had concluded its investigation and did not intend to move forward with an enforcement action after sending the company a Wells notice in May 2024, notifying it of a pending enforcement action. Now, I will tell you this, and that's, of course, that's back when Kim Jong-Gensler was in charge of the SEC, back when he was the supreme leader and dictator of the whole thing. I'll tell you this, when the SEC sends a Wells notice, it's a virtual certainty that legal action will follow. And of course, it has to be voted on by the commissioners, but typically when that happens, yes, it follows through. So it's a virtual certainty that was going to come to pass. But since Trump got elected, no, they're not attacking any further, which is great for all of your crypto holdings. I don't care where you are politically. I'm just telling you, this is great for you if you are in crypto. Whatever your political leanings, I don't care. Because outside of however politics impact anything outside of crypto, I'm not talking about it on this channel, but as it pertains to the economy and finance in general and crypto specifically, I'll talk about that. And clearly this is fantastic for all of us. And even if you're on the left, I would hope that you could at least be intellectually honest enough to admit that. Anyway, piece continues. An SEC spokesperson told the Crypt that the regulator declines to comment on the matter. In a statement, Robinhood Markets head of legal and compliance, Dan Gallagher, said that, quote, this investigation should never have been open, arguing that the firm, quote, never allowed transactions in securities, end quote. Instead of regulation by enforcement, it's time for the SEC to turn to regulation by regulation, providing market participants with clarity and an appropriate regulatory framework for digital assets, Robinhood added in its statement. So again, the SEC is a friend to crypto now. Well, how about that? And so chart analyst Nick of the XRP community, he shared that story and he simply wrote, okay, now we just need the case against Ripple dismissed for a full send on XRP. Yep. And whether it's a dismissal or a settlement, whatever the technicality of it is, once this goes away, it's probably going to happen during this bull market, would be my guess. I think the market's going to respond. I have a suspicion. Even though XRP already has legal clarity, and so from a technical perspective, it doesn't matter for any of us, I think the market's going to respond. It seems like the type of thing the market would do, especially in a bull market like this. We also had this, by the way. SEC drops OpenSea investigation, easing pressure on NFT market. So again, SEC is completely flipped. Friends to crypto people now. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission is closing its investigation into major non-fungible token marketplace OpenSea, the platform's founder and CEO Devin Finzer said on social media. The regulator issued a Wells notice against OpenSea in August 2024, indicating it was planning on pursuing an enforcement action against it. The regulator alleged the platform may have been operating as an unregistered securities marketplace. And look, it's just gone. Coinbase, Robinhood, OpenSea, Ripple's coming up. And as I discussed in a recent video, the reason that we haven't seen Ripple, the Ripple appeal publicly addressed sooner is because of the complexities behind that. You have a completed case there, and so there are additional things that need to get worked out. I know you would have thought perhaps, since it's the oldest lawsuit out there, and I was going to say out of all of these, although technically a couple of these are just investigations, you would have thought that they would have moved on the Ripple situation first, but that's the reason they didn't. It's not some sort of indication that we're not going to get clarity just for that. No. That's not what that means. We don't have to worry about that. It's just more complex. But Trump has declared that the war on crypto is over. He already said it's over. Everything else, in his opinion, I believe it's just a formality. We also had this. Ripple v. SEC. XRP lawyer predicts key resolution timeline. And they're actually just referencing this comment from John Reed Stark. John Reed Stark is a former SEC attorney, and he hates crypto. He thinks it's bad. It's all the stupid talking points that don't make logical sense. He defends them. Crypto used for illicit purposes, all this crap, even though almost no crypto is used for such things. And, the dollar is a way better mechanism for people with nefarious intent if they want to do something with finance. But even he's like, okay, well, and he said this recently, too, after the election. He's like, look, he says, I don't agree with this stuff, but the people have spoken. They should get what they want. And the SEC needs to drop all this war on crypto stuff. And that certainly has been happening, as decreed from the top on down from the government now. And so there's this post the other day from John Reed Stark. And he said, as predicted, like the rest of the SEC's crypto enforcement program, the SEC Coinbase case is dead. The SEC Ripple appeal is obviously next on the chopping block. Yeah, and so there's been a few in between, but I get what he's saying, and I do think he's right about that. So at least he's intellectually honest enough to acknowledge that, the war on crypto should end because that's what the people voted for, and then B, that Ripple, that's going to go away, and it should. So credit where it's due, right? I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.